Are you ready? The Kornelia Stephanie Show. Wake up to love, your call to action. Join Kornelia as she empowers others to live heaven on earth. Kornelia teaches listeners how to be the authority over yourself, embracing your inner guru. Feel yourself uplifted into limitless expansion, integrating ease and grace in a changing world. This show will cover topics such as unconditional love, your physical body, how to be in extraordinary relationships, create financial and emotional wealth, embracing entrepreneurship in the new earth. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kornelia Stephanie Show. It's Friday. Yay. I hope that you're having a wonderful start to your coming weekend. And I'm excited to open today's show. We've got our stories of hope. We're here to inspire and uplift. My first guest is Heather Roberts Wanninger. After suddenly becoming a single mom to 3 boys under the age of 6, Heather took the scariest jump into entrepreneurship as a full-time photographer and photography coach, knowing she had to sink or swim. After 10 years, she built a multi-six-figure business and has turned her lemons into sweet lemonade. Now she's on a mission to help other full-time photographers make the move from $500 sessions to $5,000 sessions. That sounds good to me. So you can live life on your own terms. Welcome to the show today, Heather.
Hello. How are you doing, Kornelia?
Yes, wonderful. Did I say your last name correctly? Wanninger?
You did. Wanninger. Yep.
Wanninger. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, I love where you're going with this. And we talked a little bit before the show today. You're also a podcaster now. You just recently started your podcasting, which when things are really moving forward, or can people tune in and listen now? Is this
Yep, we actually have a few that are already live. The podcast is called Through My Lemonade Lens. So kind of a play with the photography and just life's lemons turned into lemonade. And so it's there are some that are geared towards photography in general, specifically building your business. And then others are just like what you're doing, sharing stories of hope, how people have taken their lemons and turned it into lemonade.
Yeah, I think that's so inspiring. And I really love the photography piece too. That you have the skill that you have, and that you took that quantum leap jump. So tell us about the scariest part when you did that. Take us back to that time where it was like, okay, you knew you wanted to do that full time. You were at $500 sessions, and then what was the vision? What was the dream? Take us to that time period.
Yeah. Well, when I started, I didn't even want to do photography. So there's newsflash. Did not even think this was going to be a business. I've always loved photography. I loved capturing the memories of my boys and just doing it from a personal side. I was a stay-at-home mom and loved it. Thought that was the last title I would ever own was stay-at-home mom. And then life turned upside down, and we were in a divorce. My husband had an affair, and we're looking at the next step. It's like, what do I do now? This was my plan, right? I thought I had the path staying at home, and then it was trying to figure out what to do next. And so I had a friend of a friend. And at that point, I would say more of an acquaintance, but she saw the gift that I had because I photographed her family, and she encouraged me, you need to do photography. And so honestly, the scariest part, I still remember, and my stomach could turn upside down, even talking about it now today. I remember the feelings when I sent that email out to like 25 or 50 of my friends, right? Because 12 years ago, that's what it was. Oh, I have an email list of just friends. Hey, I'm starting a photography business. I'm going to start charging $50 to take pictures. Let me know if you'd like to, let me to take the pictures. That was frightening to me because I did not believe, but what I was doing was saying, hey, I'm worthy enough. I'm asking you for money. And I didn't believe I was worthy to receive anything in return. I loved photographing people just for fun, but to ask for that transaction of saying, hey, give me something in return, that was frightening. And now I'm like, now it's great. Like I'm so thankful for the times in the last 10, 12 years where I was scared and we did it anyway. And there are many pieces of that.
Yeah. And what was the response? Do you remember when the emails came back and the responses that came back from people? What was the response when you asked only for $50?
Yeah. They're like, oh, that's great. Yeah, let's get some pictures. Want to get our family out there. Oh, we need to do it. And business was great. We had lots of people that were happy to pay me $50 and happy to pay me $100. And then, would continue to grow from there. The growing of believing in who I was took longer than the growth in the financial piece, right? And I mean, my business grew. I had lots of clients, a full calendar, but it took a little bit longer to really do the deep work on myself and uncovering, why do I not feel worthy? Why don't I feel good enough? Why don't I feel like I'm smart enough or capable enough to do this, to run a business, to run it the real way? I didn't even do a cost of doing business for 5 years. I was just happy with whatever money came in. Someone paid me. I'm like, wow, they think I'm worthy. Right. I was very much tying the dollars received to worth. And so I've spent many years uncovering where that comes from and trying to figure out, how to place my worth in other ways and not in that. And so just through self-discovery, and believing of what I'm capable of and how I can show up and empower my clients and to shine light on others and help them feel beautiful and worthy and loved. Those mission statements, it comes from the personal journey of where when I didn't feel any of that myself.
Would you also agree? I love this dialogue and I love how you are so vulnerable and authentic in your expression of it. Thank you so much for sharing that with us
Yeah.
here. And also, would you also say that your friend that initially said, you have a gift here, she believed in you first before you believed in yourself?
Oh, 100%. Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm very blessed with the people that are in my network, in my circle. There's a lot of great support in those that believe in me before I believe in myself. And that was very much the case. And I look back and even to this day, she is one of my super fans. And
Wow.
as far as, sharing with other people and telling about, what I do and referring people and just being a cheerleader. I mean, she pours into me and, I get to be able to do the same thing to her and, and anyone else that I encounter. I think
Yeah.
one thing that I've learned is that just if someone's on my heart for whatever reason to communicate, reach out right away. There's a reason. It's not a coincidence that they pop up in my mind. And the more I take action on that, the more I realize that there's a very specific reason and that they might need the encouragement or the love or support or just, hey, I'm thinking of you. I'm proud of you. You just came to mind and I love how you show up and give and serve to others. Thanks for being you. Right. And the responses that I receive, I mean, it's that giving. I'm just wanting to give, support. Right. And I feel so awesome in return when I get those responses because I'm like, wow, the timing was not a coincidence. It's God winks.
Yeah, it's those intuitive nudges that you're being guided to take action on, and you're doing it, and you feel so good in giving. And then, the response that you get back from people, how they're responding to you, is just a beautiful exchange of giving and receiving. And that's the world we want to live in, and that's the world we want to create. So you're being the example of that. I want to talk about what you're doing now. So
Yeah.
you are still doing photography
Hmm.
and you're also being a coach. So are you coaching photography or is it personal life coaching?
It's geared. Well, I would say I'm life coaching in the photography world. And
Okay.
so the people that I photograph, most of them have a desire to hit six figures in their photography business. Some are maybe working part-time and have another full-time job, or others are just like, we're ready to just take this to the next level. So I help them with in-person sales and how to profitably price in a way where they are not working 24/7, where they get to actually enjoy life, where they can do the fun things and serve in their community and do whatever else is on their heart. And so through that, there's a lot of the life coaching, there's a lot of, the empowerment and trying to figure out the imposter syndrome and working through the things and where they might lack confidence, where my friend got to pour into me and believe in me before I believed in myself. That's my favorite part of all this is being able to be that person for everyone else that I get to work with is helping them, take those jumps, take those plunges where they might be a little hesitant or might feel like they aren't worthy of it or not capable enough, or we need to get our photography skills a little bit better before we do this. No, let's just go. You're beautiful. You're worthy. You're capable. You deserve to have a business that thrives and supports your family in a way that supports their dreams. And so I've been doing that for the last couple of years and have really been enjoying that. I'm off. I do retreats as well. So just did one in Florida, in Morocco. In September, we're going to Morocco.
Wow.
And next February, we're going to Costa Rica. And then the next one might be on a yacht in Croatia. So I love to travel. So when I can incorporate empowering and encouraging other people and helping grow photography business and travel and put it all together, I mean, you're speaking my language right there. We'll just go ahead and do that full time.
Yeah, I think that's a dream life. You're creating your dream life
Yeah.
just by taking that one jump, and everything that was given to you when you initially first started, you're now joyously and freely giving it back to others. It's so inspiring to hear. Tell us about your retreats. What are your retreats like? So are they 3 days? Are they 5 days?
Yeah, so it's going to vary a little bit. So the one in Morocco actually it started as a photography one, and I had so many people that wanted to just go. They're like, "Do we have to be a photographer?" So it's actually a mix of all kinds of people, and it's just becoming a great vacation to explore a different place every day for 11 days in Morocco in the fall. My retreat in Croatia or in Costa Rica in February, that is geared towards creatives, particularly photographers. It's about a 4-day trip. And I really want it to be a mix of education and relaxation. As photographers, we tend to get a little burnt out in the fall and busy season when we're taking on a lot of extra clients. So I like to do those in the winter. We're like, you know what? Let's celebrate. Let's pause. What I have found is when I can slow down and celebrate in the moments and take a pause and really look at, what do I want the next step to look like? What do I want the next year to look like? When I have that open space and not running to the next task every minute, I get to open up and see more excitement for what I want my look to look like. I get to design it a little bit more. And so in our retreats, it's a lot of that. We spend I have business before breakfast, where with about in breakfast time for about 2 hours, we do education. We do fireside chat educations in the evening. And then during the day, we have a private chef that comes into the home that we've rented, and we are going to go surf lessons and go visit Monkey Island and just explore, just create a great energy around the people that are desiring to grow to the next level. Have people around you that you want to expand with, that have that abundance mindset. And so that's what we've been working on.
Yeah, I think that's fabulous. I think it's so important having a retreat like this, going to Morocco and Florida and wherever you're going to go around the world, that you also built in the model of slowing down,
Yeah.
right? And not hustling from the next step to the next step to the next step. You know, running through it basically
Sure.
is, just rushing through it or whatever. I want to find out, who is your client? Who's your ideal client? Who's the person that when they're listening to this, that I'm feeling inspired, even though I'm not a photographer.
Yeah.
Is your person a beginner? Who is your person?
Typically, they are 2 to 5 years into business. They have already got a great foundation in their business, and they're just working lots of sessions to bring in the money that they want to generate. And so I help them figure out a different way to price profitably to be able to generate more per session. Most of them tend to be females between 30 and 50 years old. Most of them are moms. They have a lot of them have a faith background. Doesn't have to be, but I find that is who is drawn to me, just because I'm happy to share mine as well. And people that just are committed to growth, that are not afraid to take a plunge, the people that are kind and loving and want to serve and give back, that are very community focused, heart focused. Those are the people that I love to work with, because they get to see the seeds that they plant be duplicated, triplicated, and just move on and on, see their growth and finances, and then be able to give back to the community as well.
Yeah. And so what do your boys say about what you're doing in your life? What is that about?
As boys, they don't tend to say a whole lot, but we get to do a whole lot of cool things because of it.
Oh,
I got to take them on a trip over into Greece and Italy and Turkey last year. And I told them, like, you know what, this is the cool thing, guys. I'm like, you guys get to do the same thing in your life. You get to figure out what you want to do and go after it. You're capable of anything. This is something I never thought would be possible for my life. I want to be that example to them, to know whatever it is that they want to do, they can achieve it. I'm behind them to support them and help them in any way that I can. And just know that it's possible.
Yeah, but I think this is such an empowering model of what you're showing them, that they can also uh, live their dream life, design their dream life, and that they don't need to settle for less. Are you getting any glimpses of what they want to do when they're of age to do it?
Yeah. Yeah. So my boys are 21, 18, and 17.
Okay.
And so they're there. My oldest is wants to be a baker. He has always enjoyed that. He's been selling cakes out of our house since he was 12 and paying for school's trips to Peru on his own. I mean, incredible hard worker. And he just knows what he wants to do. So he's finishing up his associates this year and is going to move on and start baking and working in some different kitchens and restaurants to be able to learn a little bit more about that. And he's super happy with that. And my middle is in aviation school. And so we're looking at planes. Who'd have ever thought he'd be looking to buy a plane? Because he can fly me to these places here soon. Next summer, he can fly me to Florida to go visit my mom. And it's just great when you see your kids get to the point where they're finding what they like to do. They're finding their place in life. They're becoming more confident in who they are and showing up unapologetically. Like, here's who I am. This is what I want to be, regardless of what the world thinks. They're just doing what they want. And it makes my heart so happy. And then my youngest, he's a junior in high school, and he really loves to get dirty, work outside, be doing, he works at a farm here locally, and he's been working with his dad with solar things and doing some pipeline work and stuff like that. And so he really wants to follow in his dad's footsteps and be more involved in his company and just be out and move and not be behind a desk and just be working. And it's really cool to see where all the kids are going. Everybody's going in a different direction. And what I'm seeing is they're all happy in the direction they're choosing.
Yeah, and with a wonderful leader like you, a powerful leader saying yes to her dream and expanding and growing through it, and now inspiring so many others, helping so many others live that dream life as well. You certainly inspired me today. I want to be able to let the audience know how they can find you. Where are you on social media where they can look you up and learn more about what it is that you do?
Yeah, absolutely. On Instagram, I'm Sweet Lemonade Photo. And on Facebook, Sweet Lemonade Photography is my business page. I've got a photography group, which is 6-figure photographers making more, working less, and gaining real freedom. And then my website is sweetlemonadephotography.com, where it has information about my high school seniors, my corporate photography, and a link to all my coaching as well. And so, I mean, even if the people are listening are not photographers, particularly if they are women, love adventure, want to go places and explore, we can bring them into the world of what we're doing with all these travel and destinations and just exploring, living big, living bold, and just going for it.
Yeah, that inspires me. That's definitely inspiring me. So I will be keeping my eye on you. Thank you so much, Heather, for coming
You
on
are
the show
welcome.
today. It was wonderful to have you on. We want to take a break on the Kornelia Stephanie Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to the Kornelia Stephanie Show. It's an honor and a pleasure again to be with you today. My next guest is Katy Maag. She is a BSN RN CCRP certified stress management coach, happiness facilitator, presenter, and a laughter yoga therapist teacher who helps provide tools for stress management and laughter in order to provide more joy in current times. Katy works with professionals who want to master their state of wellness. She has been a presenter for over 2 decades on health and wellness, with a side of laughter to add an element of edutainment for the purpose of a stress tool. Welcome to the show today, Katy.
Well, thank you, Stephanie. It's good to be here. We talked about stress. Stress is everywhere. I actually became a laughter yoga leader because I had watched my cardiac rehab patients and they were exercising, and they're exercising on the bike like this because they're scared. They've been through a heart related incident and they're doing rehab to facilitate to get in healthier movement. And I kept watching him ride the bike, and I'm like, my neck and shoulder was hurting. I'm thinking, how are you going to ride that bike very long? So we did stress management with them, and the presenter talked about laughter yoga. So I went down to Cincinnati, which is like 3 hours from here, and did a class. And I'll be quite honest, I was kind of surprised. Number one, I've been using laughter since I was a kid. I've had a very interesting life. But I've used laughter, and I didn't realize I used laughter until I did the laughter yoga class. And I'm like, oh my heavens, I see, why this is my niche, because I've been using it anyway. And I had to laugh because I'm getting older, and I watched everybody's face when we got done doing this laughter yoga session. Everybody looked younger because your facial muscles relaxed. I'm like, yes, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Good. So you started, now you help people through sessions in that way, or how do you support others with laughter yoga?
I will do presentations and even just talk about stress management, because stress can affect us many different ways. And I kind of laugh because my son, before he left, he's like, "No, you're not going to talk about me." I'm like, "I hope not." but, but stress affects us. It can affect us physically, like sweating or high blood pressure or stomach aches, backaches, muscle cramps, anything. Actually, 75 to 90% of all family doctors' offices jump back to stress. So that, or mentally, I can't tell you I've done this before, but talking to my friend, I call you back, I got something missing, it's my phone, it's in my hand. That's a little overload.
Right. So supporting others with, releasing their stress is such an important piece in the body, like you said, because, stress causes so many things in the body. And if we're looking at aging well or aging better or becoming healthier, becoming happier, laughter, they say, is the best medicine.
Correct. There's so many benefits to it. I'm actually in the middle of becoming an applied therapeutic humorist also, and it talks about laughter and humor. And I got involved with that because of, like I said, my cardiac patients. I watched them exercise. We did some laughter, but I started incorporating videos like Carol Burnett. That's just it's just old humor. It's nothing if you've ever seen where he was the dentist and numbed his hand. And if you've ever seen that one, please reach out and watch that video of Carol Burnett. It's one of the classics. It is funny. But I watch because people, when they're going through a heart-related incident, they're stressed. Everybody's stressed, but that's just an added element. Anytime you've had any kind of extra put on you, whether physically, mentally, whatever, this pandemic's been very rough on a lot of people. The stress I see in a lot of people's faces, whether it mean the social isolation that they've went through, or even just the stress of not knowing. I mean, I think that's everybody, not knowing where are we going to come out, what we going to do after all this, or what's next. Basically, I've heard that before.
Yeah, I'm thinking about, like, when is the last time? I'm more of even though I like to smile and I like expressing my joy and my happiness, but I'm also I'm also serious. I'm not a dry humor kind of person. So it's very interesting, how to incorporate laughter in our lives. I'm trying to think of right now, when was the last time that I really had like a belly laugh, right? Like, when was the last time? And right away I saw, oh, okay, that was last year. That was last year, at that particular point in time, where tears were coming and I was crying and laughing so hard I could cry. It was during that time, right? So when you're teaching people about laughter, is it that type of laughter that I'm talking about, or is it different?
It can start out, actually, laughter, motion creates emotion. So we start out, and actually laughter yoga started with a actual doctor, Dr. Madan Kataria, in 1995 in Mumbai, India. He started out, he realized the benefits people had from laughter. So what he did was he went out to a park, and his wife is a yoga instructor. They went out to a park, and after 2 weeks, the 5 people that was out there, their jokes got stale, but they realized that they still got benefit from the laughter. So even if you're not happy, you still can laugh because actually it releases the good hormones, the dopamine, the oxytocin, which is the feel good hormones from cuddling babies, the serotonin, and endorphins. Runners, I don't know about you, but I'm not much of a runner, but I enjoy that feeling of pleasantness without chemicals.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I'm curious about when is a good time to laugh?
Anytime. There's actually some people that, well, of course, you're going to have some inappropriate time, but you can do just simple things to make you laugh or even smile. There's studies out there where you put a pencil in your mouth because it draws up your mouth to make it like you're smiling or laughing. There's even just a couple really easy exercise that I've actually done a presentation one time where it was for women who survived breast cancer. And I had to laugh because, that's such a serious subject. And I think they needed that stress relief. And I was doing the laughter yoga, and it's just something so simple. We were laughing, and some lady came walking in, and she's like, and what? She was very curious because actually laughter is a very much of a social interactor because it's kind of hard to be mad at somebody after you've laughed with them, and it builds a bond. So actually babies, the first thing babies, one of the social interactions babies do is smile anywhere from a month to 2 months and laugh between 2 and 4 months. So you think about that, even if they can't talk, they still can laugh and they still can have that social interaction.
Yeah,
And who doesn't love a baby laugh?
that's totally true. And I think babies are probably the only ones, close to anyway, that would wake up in the morning and start laughing. Because think about your daily routine. Do you
Yep.
wake up in the mornings and do you start laughing? Most likely not. So
Most no.
most likely human beings do not wake up in the morning and start laughing. That's not an emotion that people would experience when they first wake up. Babies
Mhm.
are probably close to it, or at least shortly after
Mhm.
they wake up, right? But do you want to take us through a small, possibly an
Sure.
exercise of
Sure.
think?
We can actually, and we do a couple deep breathing exercises because when you increase your oxygen by 50%, it helps you think outside the box and it gets more oxygen to your head. So you think more clear and it also gets more oxygen to your lungs, which helps you physically. So the first thing we're just going to do is take a deep breath in and exhale. Take another deep breath in. Exhale again. Now this time when we exhale, we're just going to laugh. You just can do a giggle, a jaw, whatever you feel comfortable doing, because some people are not comfortable because it's something unusual, because it gets in our amygdala not to laugh. So the next time we're just going to laugh a little bit, and we'll do that a couple times. Okay. So if you want to take a deep breath in and all right, we'll take another deep breath in and laugh it out again. Uh, Another thing we can do is something so easy, and we do a ho ho ha ha ha. We're actually ho ho ha ha ho ho ha ha, and you can follow along with me. You can go ho ho ha ha ho. You're just putting your hands up and taking it down. Ha ha ho ho ha ha ho ho ha 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 ho ho ha ha ho ho ha ha. We're going a little faster. Ho ho
Ho,
ha ha
ha, ho,
ho
ho.
ho ha ha ho ho ha ha ho ho ha ha ho ho ha ha ho ha.
That's a good one. I like that one. That really helps get you there.
Right, and
Um,
it's part brain gym.
Yeah, right. And do people tell you they have resistance to laughing, that they don't want to do it? This is stupid.
Correct. Correct. And I do. And I actually, I'm very observant on watching other people's reactions and stuff. And I'm always surprised the ones who, they it's usually a man who acts a little macho. And then afterwards they come up and they're like, well, how do I do this on a regular basis and stuff like that? Because usually they report that they feel energetic, but yet relaxed.
Yeah. And I just want to say too, you as a therapist, you'll probably know this too, but the more relaxed we are, the more open we are, the more you know happy and joyful we feel with this laughing
Hmm.
energy, is that we are in receiving mode. The more relaxed we are, we can receive more, we can receive better, because we're not holding on for dear life under that stress in the physical body, and that we're actually at peace during that time. So
Correct.
it's an important energy to be in. And but I just noticed my own mind, when you were taking us through that first exercise, watching the thoughts, this is stupid. um and I don't judge my thoughts, I just watch them, observe them go by. So it's like, oh, okay, this is just, it's normal to.
Hmm.
And that's why I asked you the question, do people
Hmm.
uh do people give you resistance with this because they don't understand it, maybe haven't experienced the effects
Hmm.
of it, or just want to hold on to not laughing?
Correct. And that's okay. Actually what happens is, and if you've ever been in on the road and all of a sudden you pull up next to somebody and they're laughing in their car and you don't even know what they're laughing at, you start laughing, don't you? You don't have to be even in their conversation, but it's contagious. And it's still, like I said, it's a team builder. That was just a couple exercises. Actually, laughter yoga has clapping, it has breathing exercises, it has laughing exercises, and then at the end there's a grounding. Otherwise, you release all the endorphins and things like that, and you're up here and you don't do the last grounding part or like meditation. People are going to be hyped up here, and I'm telling you, they're going to be mad at me.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yes.
So does your son do your therapy, your laughter therapy? Does he participate in it?
Yes, I actually have. And because you can do laughter yoga with anywhere from children all the way up to elderly. And I've done anywhere from children to elderly. I have a special needs son who I laugh. I have two boys. My first one was a pound and 12 ounces, and he's my $1 million. My second one's my 1 in 1 million, because that boy. It's one of the reasons I started laughing.
That's great. That's really great. How can people learn more about you with where your social media is?
I'm working on my LinkedIn page. I'm working on my Facebook page. I do presentations. I do more on stress. I do heart health. Next week, I'm actually going to the Hill and talking about heart health, some legislation that needs to be changed, because actually heart health is actually #1 killer in the United States. It's every 34 seconds somebody dies from cardiovascular disease. So that's my niche. My mom was 43 years of age when she had a stroke. Um, I love heart patients. I love when they start laughing and they start healing. It's important. It really is. But I have a special needs son, and I go and do classes at his special need group. And after there was first 4 months I did, this one kid didn't say nothing. The fifth month I didn't even know he spoke. He spoke to me. He says, "Oh, are you doing class right now?" And I said, "Correct." And I had no idea, because he always sat there and didn't talk or anything. And he knew every move, and he enjoyed it. So
That's
it is.
so great. I just want to say too that laughter looks good on you, because you can really tell that your face is very relaxed. You look really relaxed. So you're definitely practicing what you're teaching. And so I just want to thank you so much for, helping the world be a better place through your laughter and reducing stress, therapies. And so you mentioned earlier that you are right now you're getting certified in, what was that last thing? I just wanted to remember again.
Applied there, it's American Associated Applied Therapeutic Humorist. Sorry. So sorry, I forgot to unplug it. It's Applied Therapeutic. I'm sorry, Associated Applied Therapeutic Humorist. It's in the United States. It actually started quite a few years ago. It's a 3-year program. We have to do a research project. We have to do, there's comedians out there. There's people that I actually do an improv on Wednesday night with some people. Um,
I can
they're
see
good.
you do that. I certainly can see you do that. I certainly can see you doing stand-up comedy, that kind of thing. But certainly would love to have you back on the show as you're progressing and helping people, become more joyful and laughing more in their everyday life, becoming healthier. So thank you so much for coming on the show today. And we're going to take a break on the Kornelia Stephanie Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to the Kornelia Stephanie Show. My next guest is Kervin Searles. He's a licensed professional counselor in South Carolina. He's a graduate of the Anderson University and Troy University. He is the owner of Gravity Counseling Group, which provides mental health counseling and guidance to those seeking assistance in developing skills and interventions appropriate for their current circumstance. His past experience in therapy allows him to help with excessive worry, anger, and conflict in relationships. Although he has worked with a wide range of diagnoses and treatment goals, his greatest passion is aiding men experiencing anxiety, stress, life transitions, and relationship issues. He's married with 4 children. He loves spending time with family, playing fantasy football, listening to podcasts, and 90s R&B. One of his favorite sayings, when we learn how to love, we'll know how to live. Author unknown. That's beautiful. Welcome to the show today, Kervin.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So in your bio, you talked about that what your passion is right now, who your ideal clients are, the people that you're working with are men that are overcoming, obstacles in anger, anxiety, and various different things. So, and you also talked about the mental health and intervention. So give us, an idea of, like what is an intervention, and what would that look like? So somebody's having an issue. What is that? A drug issue? Alcohol issue? Is it a depression issue?
It can be a variety of things, and it just kind of interventions depends on the person and what they're dealing with. The very first thing that came to mind when you said types of interventions, it could be someone who has a overwhelming thought, such as self-talk is what they call it, where you have negative thoughts, negative connotations about yourself. And we might go over an exercise where instead of it just being the thought, I'm horrible at driving. I hate driving. I'm not good at driving. Instead of saying I'm just not good at driving, we might go over an exercise where we say I'm having a thought that I'm bad at driving. And then we'll go through what's the proof? Why would you think that you're bad at driving? What have you done? What's the history? What is your driving history? And then, just kind of going through that is one intervention. Another intervention for anxiety would be breathing technique, and learning how to slow down your breathing. Also being mindful, being aware of your surroundings, the sounds, the way that you feel, what you see. So going through that type of interventions, specifically for anxiety, but once we start going through other things that the individual may be going through, then we'll go with the exercise for that. And sometimes I have to research exercise. I don't always know them in the moment that something is presented to me. So as I'm gaining knowledge of the individual that I'm working with, of course, my brain is just working and working and working, trying to figure out if it's something that I've dealt with before. Is it something that some other intervention that works well in one category, will it work well in this one? And sometimes it's just, you know what, I have to come back to you. Let me go do some research.
Yeah, I love that. While you were talking, I definitely see a collaboration between us in the future. I was thinking that because I have some techniques I would like to share with you. But I
Okay,
thought
great.
about, yeah, I thought about, the men that you're working with or the people that you're working with. How do they find you? Like, how is a person referred to you? How do they come to you?
Word of mouth is great. Um, you cannot beat word of mouth. Um, I'm in a somewhat of a small town in South Carolina, but I'm also on different websites. So, if someone was looking for a therapist, they can go to Psychology Today.
Mhm.
They can find a therapist anywhere in the country, any state in the country. And so sometimes I'm found that way. Sometimes I'm found through someone go to their primary physician, and he or she will reach out to me. Sometimes I've gotten 2 or 3 calls this week alone from people who know my friends, and they don't know me. They're just talking to my a person that I'm friends with about a certain situation that they're going through, and my friends are like, "Hey, I know somebody that you can contact," and then so I get calls like that. So, and then there are agencies that I partner with um, to provide services. One of the bigger ones is vocational rehab, South Carolina vocational rehab, and they would send people to me or I'm one of the persons that they use that they send people me who may be going through something.
Yeah. So I'm curious, what got you started in this field?
That's always a good question. I would like to think I give the same answer each time, but it, it kind of fell in my lap, I guess you could say. um, I went to, I consider myself a first generation college student. And when I say I consider myself that, I had some relatives who went to school prior to me, but they were so much older that I wasn't exposed to that. And so I entered undergrad. My major was business management. That was the first one. I changed it 5 times and ended up on psychology. And once I graduated with a psychology degree, it's like, what now? Where do I go? What do I do? And so I ended up working at a group home or residential facility for young men. And I was one of they called them house parents at the time that I was there. And so the guys were, of course, at a residence. And so we had to take care of them morning, noon, and night. Um, And I eventually saw a person there that certain guys would go to. And they would go into his office, be there 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe an hour. And I inquired about, okay, what is this? What is he doing? He said, well, I'm doing therapy. What is therapy? And he kind of explained it to me. And I took a interest in it, did a little bit of reading because at this time I'm not going to say it wasn't Google, but it was a little bit harder than just going to Google to find out what therapy was. So I had to read a couple of books and found out, you know what, this is the path that I want to take. And eventually got into grad school and dove headfirst into it and really, really love therapy and everything that's involved with it.
So would you say that, you know, in order to really understand human behavior, which, in psychology, you really get to dive into human behavior, and then also looking at your own human behavior and, looking at the things that make you angry, the things that make you anxious, the things that make you depressed, being able to work through those, because we know a lot of people also out there that are therapists as well. Sometimes they forget about themselves.
Mhm.
And would you say that you are a user of your own therapy, a user of your own tools?
Oh, absolutely. I'm not going to say that every single thing that I share that I use, but for the most part, almost everything. And the only reason it's not every single thing because I don't have every single problem that I'm dealing with, and so I don't have to. At this time, I don't have to use it. But that's not to say that I won't use it in the future. In addition to that, um, just I do a lot of research before I share exercise or intervention, because you don't want to just give people anything. You want to know what's the background, where it came from, who is connected to, how has it worked. And, I even talk with people after we implement certain things to see how it works for them.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. Now, I'm curious, do you, the clients that you're working with today, the men that you're working with, say, and they're between an age group, a certain age group, and whatever. Do you feel that those men have a low, uh, self-worth, self-esteem, low, thoughts about themselves, are not in their masculinity, is what I'm trying to say. I don't know how to put it into words there.
Not always. And I can't even really give you a percentage to say, oh, 60% or 70% is like that. It's really based on what they come in for.
Mm.
And some people that come in, they're too much into their masculinity.
Mm.
They feel like they can go through anything, and then they found out otherwise.
Oh,
And so that's, not necessarily.
yeah, yeah. So you've been doing this for a while now, and you've got your children. Do you have 4 kids, right?
4 kids, yes.
4 kids. And so how old are your kids?
I have a 17-year-old, 15-year-old, 13-year-old, excuse me, I'm sorry, 14-year-old, and then a 8-year-old.
So 17 to 8.
Yeah.
And so
Two
what do
two
you,
boys and 2 girls.
okay, so you got that balance going on.
Yes.
And so how is your work, influencing your
My
child?
my
Yeah,
they have this thing called work-life balance, and
yeah,
I really have to implement it to the highest degree. I have to set aside time for my children in the evening. So typically, I begin my day around about 8 or 9, and I'm in sessions up until possibly 7 at night. And that's not back to back sessions. It's various throughout the day. So I got time in between myself. However, when I arrive home, I got to make sure, or I have to make sure that I'm being intentional about the time that I have at home. So I don't get to just, well, I can just come home and watch EA games. But I help out with homework, help out with chores. Sometimes we'll play a game just to make sure that they're getting the time that they need. And also, in addition to that, I must say some of the things that I do see and hear in um, therapy gives me the opportunity to address them to my kids.
yeah. And the other thing, while you were talking, like even when you said, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna make sure that I do help with the chores and I help with this, but also you are offering your presence as a father to
Mhm.
be there, because I'm sure
Yes.
that as you're dealing with a lot of the men, a lot of people didn't grow up either with a father figure or didn't have the father figure present, and so didn't to be a present father, to be there just for your kids is very
Yeah.
helpful for them.
And I want to make sure that I practice what I preach. You don't want to just, give whatever you give in therapy and you're not doing
Yeah, yeah. Well, I can see that you are a stand up guy, Kervin. I really appreciate you coming on the show. Like I said, I'd like to meet with you again. We can talk, at some other time. But
it.
let's tell the audience right now, the people that are listening, how they can find you on social media.
Oh, you can find me on Gravity Counseling Group is the private practice that I started back in 2012. And when I started it, when we were just giving out anger management and parenting classes, then we evolved to provide actual therapy, individual, family, and couples counseling. I really enjoy couples counseling. But Gravity Counseling Group, you can find me there, gravitycounselinggroup.com. And then on any social media, you can add Gravity Counseling Group. You'll find me there. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. What would you like to leave us with final words, Kervin?
Final words. There is more to the surface than what your eyes can see.
Good. Good. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening and tuning into the Kornelia Stephanie Show. We'll see you again next time. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you, Kervin, and thank you to all the guests today.
You've been listening to the Kornelia Stephanie Show, Wake Up to Love, your call to action. Tune in each week on Transformation Talk Radio. Kornelia's joy is to engage others in practical ways, showing us how to live in the new earth in harmony with our true nature. For more information on Kornelia and her extraordinary work, or to listen to past shows, go to her website at korneliastephanie.com.